Hello, welcome to Kitchen Basics 101, where I teach you the bare bone basics as if you've never cooked a day in your life from the perspective of a mom. Can you hear my washer? My washer wanted to be the star of the show. Okay, I got this question quite a bit, so here we are. We're gonna do it. I would say there are a million ways to make shrimp. I'm gonna make it one way, but I'm gonna talk you through a couple of different ways to make it, okay? So I bought frozen raw shrimp from Trader Joe's. They are peeled and deveined, but they still have the tail on. I would have preferred peeled, deveined with no tail, because then it's no work for me. And so if you can find peeled, deveined, and no tail, that would be my recommendation if you're gonna add it to a pasta dish, because that's gonna make it easier. But I wanted nice, big, fat shrimp. I'm gonna show you when I open this, the reason that I picked this bag over another bag. And the reason that I picked frozen. I picked frozen because your seafood was frozen anyways and defrosted. Because unless you live in like coastally and you bought fresh shrimp that was caught that day, it pretty much has to be frozen to get to you fresh. Seafood does not hold the way other meats and things hold. They're not preserved. So shrimp were, if you get them fresh in the grocery store, they were probably frozen. I'm gonna say they were frozen and then defrosted for you to buy them fresh, but they were frozen anyways. So cut out the middle and just buy the frozen shrimp. So they're frozen, they're usually flash frozen right when they're caught. These are deveined, so if you've never, they're peeled and deveined. So if you've never worked with shrimp before, there is an exoskeletal part of the shrimp that is hard. That's why they have to be peeled. They have an exterior that needs to be peeled off. Then the vein is the intestinal tract. So if you are a squeamish cooker, and I know we have some squeamish chefs that follow me, it's not the most pleasant experience to devein the shrimp. So if you can find peeled and already deveined, that's fantastic. Now, these have the tails on and those tails have a shell. So these, we're gonna have to take those shell off. So if you're eating it, you're gonna have to pick it up, eat the piece of shrimp, and toss the shell piece that is at the tail. So ideally, I would have liked peeled, deveined, no tails. If you're doing a presentation shrimp though, like you're gonna stand them up on a beautiful platter or you're gonna serve them as an appetizer, tail on is lovely. It's very like, you know, special and bougie and lovely. And the bigger the shrimp are, the more likely that they're going to retain their tail for that reason. And these are pretty large shrimp, so I'm not surprised they have the tails. I purchased shrimp that says 21 to 30. Now here on the Trader Joe's bag, it tells you 21 to 30 shrimp per pound, okay? Sometimes the package will just say 10 to 15, or it'll say 21 to 30, or it'll say, you know, whatever the range is, 10 to 20 or whatever. And that's how many shrimp per pound. So the less shrimp this number is per pound, okay, the bigger that the shrimp are. Does that make sense? So if it said, you know, 10 shrimp per pound, those are gonna be big shrimp. Seafood's pretty light. Those are gonna be really big shrimp. I'm gonna show you how big 21 to 30 shrimp is. Full disclosure, I'm allergic to seafood. So I know part of the best part of this is I always taste the food and talk to you about the taste at the end. I will not be tasting this at the end, so I apologize in advance. I'm allergic to shellfish. I have not always been allergic to it. I ate it for the first almost 40 years, 37 years of my life. I ate shrimp, but I developed an allergy after my second son. So I will not be tasting this, but I do know what shrimp are supposed to taste like. And we have to defrost them. So first thing, I have a pair of scissors that is just for the kitchen. I recommend that. This pair of scissors stays in the kitchen. It's only for the kitchen and it gets washed after each use. In case you get some chicken guts, meat guts, shrimp guts on your scissors, okay? So I don't open boxes with these and then cut food with them. But if I have pizza, I'll cut the pizza into slices with them. So I'm gonna show you, these are good sized shrimp. And that was on purpose. I'm pouring them into a strainer because we're gonna defrost them. Well, we'll see if I have a skin allergy in a second because I have to touch it. I was gonna try to not touch them too much. But you can see these are good sized shrimp. I would say 2-3 inches, but whenever I estimate, people correct me, so I'm sure I'll get corrected. But these are good sized shrimp, and that's lovely. Like if you're doing an appetizer or a grilled shrimp meal, this is a great size for shrimp. You might want to go a little smaller if you're going to top it on top of your pasta, because then it's less likely to have the tail, okay? I'm going to go wash my hands, and I'll be right back. The reason that they are in a strainer is I'm going to run them under cold water for a couple of minutes, and that's what I'm going to do to defrost them. I'm gonna run them under cool water and get them all nice and soft and defrosted before I put them in here and season them. I rinsed them under the cool water for a couple of minutes, 5-6 minutes, and I just rotated them around so that all of them got one time of being under the sprayer of the water. And you'll be able to tell when they're defrosted because they'll go from being hard, stiff like rocks to being soft and pliable, right? They'll become floppy. So now we're just going to pat them dry as best we can, right? Because, and I've done this before, I pat dry and then I add oil and people are like, I don't understand, now you're adding oil. Well, oil is gonna help us get a great sear, but all this water is gonna steam them. And we wanna get a little crust on them. So just spreading them out now to try to get them as dry as I can before we start. And if you've ever never seen raw shrimp before, you're gonna see like this shrimp is like a bluish gray color. And you're thinking, I thought shrimp were red. Well, that's how you're gonna know that they're cooked, because they're gonna turn an orange red as they cook and they're gonna start to curl up. Okay, we want them to curl up into a C or a G formation. We don't want them to get too curled up where they're like so tight on top of themselves, because then that means that they're overcooked. If you want to use a thermometer, I believe the temperature is 145 for shrimp. Most meat thermometers will tell you on them what the temperature is. I'm gonna do a little olive oil on our, just a tablespoon or two of olive oil, and I'm gonna use lemon pepper seasoning. Now my lemon pepper seasoning has salt. You need to check your lemon pepper seasoning and see what it has in it if you're using lemon pepper. You can totally do salt, pepper, garlic. You don't have to do lemon pepper, okay? I just think lemon goes so great with shrimp that it's like the most obvious choice, okay? Just gonna put like, I don't know, a tablespoon. Shrimp tastes great, just salt and pepper. Salt, pepper, garlic. You could really do anything here. You could use Creole seasoning. You could use Old Bay, all these things. Shrimp is super, super versatile and super quick to cook. We're gonna cook these maybe 6 minutes, 5-6 minutes. So if you really wanna get a protein on the table quick, shrimp is the best bet. You could defrost, season, cook this shrimp with some lemon pasta in under 20 minutes. I'm gonna put some butter in the pan. But I've already tossed them in oil. This is purely for flavor because I think that shrimp and butter go together. If you're watching your fat, you don't want to put butter in there, don't put butter in there, okay? There's already oil on the shrimp. So our pan is nice and warm. As you can see, our butter is melting and bubbling, okay? Now we're gonna place our shrimp in a single layer. We're looking to get a nice crispy texture, or at least browning, because browning equals flavor. Texture, so we don't want to crowd the pan. So that might mean you have to do a couple batches of shrimp. I just want to show you in real time. You can see them changing color and starting to curl up. That's 2 minutes on this side and they're already starting to curl up. So I'm going to flip them over to the other side and you can see the difference, right? You can see that they've turned a pinky orange. They've curled up. Oh, that's a hot spot in my pan. You can see those got hotter than the other ones did. I'm gonna turn my heat down just a little bit after I get done flipping here. Look at how easy that was. Literally already done. I think these are a smidge over and I just did 5 minutes total. So I'm gonna do another one and try 2 minutes on each side for a total of 4 minutes. Changed the cooking time to 2 minutes per side for a total of 4 and they turned out much better. Plump, juicy, delicious, not overcooked. They smell amazing. I wish I could taste it for you. But you know what? It's so easy. Just make it and then you can taste it for yourself. I had my husband taste. He said delicious. I would put a fresh squeeze of lemon over top of this when you're ready to serve. Put a nice fresh squeeze of lemon over top when you're ready to serve. If you're going to put it on top of the lemon pasta, I would put it on top and then finish it with a nice squeeze of lemon. These were good size shrimp. So if you're doing smaller shrimp, they're going to cook up even faster. Okay. So you really need to watch. Once they curl up onto themselves and they turn orange, they're done. You don't want to overcook them because then they'll just be like rubber. So if they're smaller, definitely cook them according to the package directions. It's right on there. That's all you're going to do. A nice pan sear with some garlic, salt and pepper, lemon. Delicious.